For millennia, humanity has searched for value, a universal measure for survival, for success.
Before money, there was barter, a direct exchange of goods. Simple, yet deeply inefficient. The problem of the double coincidence of wants demanded a solution: commodity money.
Items that were durable, divisible, and desirable became the first currencies. Salt, tobacco, and eventually metal. Gold and silver, inherently rare and universally recognized, became the ultimate medium of exchange. First true coin, stamped with a seal, guaranteed its purity and weight. The birth of standardized money.
This metallic guarantee was the foundation of trust, an assurance of value anywhere on the map.
But carrying gold was dangerous. The need for a safer system led to a powerful invention: the promise. Goldsmiths and early bankers began issuing promissory notes, paper receipts for the gold they held.
This was the crucial step towards fiat money, currency backed not by metal, but by trust in the issuer.
Paper promise accelerated trade, financing vast empires and daring expeditions across the globe.
Money was now liquid, but one question remained. What was the cost of using someone else's money?
Enter the concept of interest, a charge for borrowing, or the necessary reward for lending and risk.
Interest reflects three core ideas: risk of default, the erosion of value by inflation, and time preference.
People prefer money now over money later. Interest compensates the lender for that waiting period and lost opportunity.
For centuries, the practice was controversial, often banned by religious and civil laws as usury. But commercial realities prevailed. As banking became centralized, interest became a legitimate, regulated instrument. As economies grew, the management of the money supply and interest required an institution with unprecedented power: the central bank.
Central banks were tasked with controlling the nation's currency and setting the base rate, the prime anchor for all lending.
From London to Washington, these institutions held the levers that would determine the pace of modern global capitalism.
After World War II, the global financial structure was formalized. The US dollar became the key reserve currency.
This pivotal moment cemented the Federal Reserve's influence, linking the fate of most nations to its monetary policy.
The global interest rate, dictated largely by major central banks, is the most powerful tool in the entire economic toolkit.
A change in the central bank's base rate is like a ripple. It immediately affects borrowing costs for every business and consumer.
When rates rise, money is expensive. This is the weapon central banks use to fight the destructive force of inflation.
Inflation, the sustained rise in prices, is the silent tax that erodes the value of money we hold.
Financial markets react instantly to these rate decisions, trading billions based on the perception of future cost of money. Financial markets also create their own warning signals. A flattening or inverting yield curve can often foreshadow an economic downturn.
The world economy is a vast, interconnected ocean. Currency values and interest rates are the currents and tides.
The difference in interest rates between nations is the magnetic force behind the trillion-dollar decisions of global investors.
A high interest rate in a powerful nation, such as the US, acts like a global magnet for capital.
This draws investment money out of smaller, emerging economies, destabilizing their local financial systems. The resulting lack of capital means fewer loans, higher unemployment, and stalled infrastructure projects.
Currency strength is a double-edged sword. A strong local currency makes imports cheaper, but it makes a country's exports prohibitively expensive.
This can lead to a trade imbalance, harming local industries that rely on global competitiveness.
At the individual level, the base rate directly dictates the cost of debt for the average person.
Your home mortgage, your car loan, your student debt, all are tethered to the fundamental interest rate set by the central bank.
The relentless fight against inflation is a fight for the working person's purchasing power, ensuring their savings retain value.
History shows us the catastrophic consequence when trust in a currency collapses, destroying entire economy overnight.
The modern challenge is maintaining balance, controlling the currency code without stifling innovation or causing recession.
Since the turn of the century, central banks have faced unprecedented global shocks, challenging every established rule.
The primary tool, the interest rate, was pushed to its limit, often approaching the zero lower bound.
When traditional interest rate cuts stop working, central banks resort to unconventional measures like quantitative easing.
Quantitative easing is essentially the large-scale printing of new money to buy government bonds, injecting liquidity into the system. Simultaneously, the velocity of money has accelerated. Algorithmic trading makes the markets react instantly, demanding perfect central bank communication. Adding complexity, the emergence of cryptocurrencies challenges the very authority of state-issued money. Decentralized finance proposes a system where money and lending, and therefore interest, operate outside of central bank control.
The future will be a battleground between centralized control and decentralized value. Who gets to set the price of money?
Governments are responding with their own central bank digital currencies for buyers, hoping to modernize money while retaining control. From shells on the beach to bits in a server, money and interest remain the fundamental language of the global economy. The history of money is the history of human trust and innovation, a continuous quest for a common standard of value.
The form changes, whether it is physical commodity, paper promise, or cryptographic code.
Every economic decision, from borrowing for a business to setting a national budget, is calculated based on the cost of that money.
The interest rate is the ultimate regulator, controlling the flow of credit that fuels wealth creation and dictates global inequality. Low rates can fund the infrastructure of tomorrow, but too low for too long can create speculative bubbles and instability. The financial stability achieved through sound monetary policy affects every citizen's daily life, often invisibly.
Understanding the currency code, how money is created and how its price is set, is essential for true economic literacy.
The essence remains. Money is only as valuable as the collective faith we place in it. The future is uncertain, but the control of currency and credit will remain the defining power struggle of the 21st century. The currency code is still being written, and its power shapes the destiny of nations. Even as central banks grapple with digital futures, older, more volatile threats persist: cyber warfare and financial instability.
The sheer interconnectedness of the global banking system means a systemic failure in one major market can rapidly become a contagion.
The 2008 crisis taught us that risk isn't siloed. Too much leverage, too much debt, and the system risks a domino effect on a global scale.
Beyond institutional risk, there is the threat of uncontrolled speculation, fueled by social media and instant accessibility.
Furthermore, the ballooning sovereign debt across many nations poses a long-term threat to the stability of their currencies.
Monetary policy is often constrained by political will.
The independence of the central bank is crucial, but constantly under political pressure.
The temptation to finance government spending by simply printing money remains the most fundamental and dangerous path to hyperinflation.
Every government must answer this question. Will you manage your fiscal house responsibly, or will you force your central bank to bear the burden?
The need for a stable medium of exchange transcends borders, enabling peaceful and productive global interactions. Ultimately, the currency code is a contract between the state and its people, a contract built on faith, prudence, and the enduring power of money.
The push toward digital currencies introduces new, substantial environmental costs, demanding immense energy consumption.
The quest for decentralized, secure money paradoxically calls with a hidden price tag, challenging our climate goals.
Beyond the energy costs, there is the risk of financial exclusion. The digital divide leaves many unbanked and outside the new systems.
As physical cash disappears, Central banks must ensure that new digital forms of money are
Another controversial tool, negative interest rates, a policy designed to force commercial banks to lend money rather than hoard it. This flips the traditional concept of interest on its head, penalizing savers and fundamentally altering the incentive structure of money.
Currency is a weapon. Sanctions and the threat of exclusion from the global financial system are now powerful geopolitical tools.
The dominance of a few currencies in international trade means that money itself can be used to enforce foreign policy and exert global leverage.
This reality drives some nations to actively seek alternatives, new regional payment systems, and bilateral currency agreements to lessen their reliance.
The control of the currency code is therefore not just an economic discussion, but one of national sovereignty and global power.
History offers stark warnings about the perils of poor monetary management and unchecked credit expansion.
The lesson of hyperinflation is simple. Once the public loses faith in the printing authority, the money is worthless.
The mandate of any central bank must be long-term stability, not short-term political gains. That is the core difficulty of their role.
Currency attacks, where speculators bet against a nation's money, remain a potent threat, capable of draining reserves in days.
Central banks must operate in this high-frequency environment, constantly defending their currency's value against global market forces.
Every decision is a trade-off. Do you prioritize low unemployment, or do you prioritize price stability? You rarely get both simultaneously.
When monetary policy is clear and credible, it fosters the stability necessary for businesses to invest and for long-term growth to thrive.
Global cooperation, through bodies like the IMF and the BIS, is crucial for managing cross-border financial crises.
The financial stability of the world hinges on the collective wisdom and restraint of the monetary leaders.
The final form of money remains to be determined. The battle between centralized authority and decentralized freedom is underway.
Central bank digital currencies promise immediate, secure payments, potentially bypassing the commercial banking system altogether.
CBDCs could offer unprecedented monetary control, allowing the state to potentially implement negative interest rates directly to citizens.
This efficiency comes with a trade-off: concerns over privacy and the extent of government surveillance over spending habits. Meanwhile, the underlying technology of cryptocurrencies offers a counter-narrative: trust built into the code, not in a fallible institution.
Decentralized currencies, while revolutionary, struggle with volatility. They must achieve stability before they can truly replace sovereign money.
The responsibility of understanding this complex new financial landscape falls to the next generation of global citizens.
Technology offers a promise to provide banking services and access to credit and fair interest rates to the billions currently unbanked. Ultimately, the purpose of money and interest remains the same: to efficiently allocate capital to where it can generate the greatest societal and economic return. The currency code is an ever-evolving algorithm of value, trust, and control. The world of money and interest rates is not a cold mechanism. It is the living engine of human ambition.
Its forces are felt most deeply at the personal level, in the family budget, the mortgage application, the retirement plan.
If we fail to understand the cost of money, we allow others to determine our financial future. Knowledge is the ultimate hedge against risk.
Monetary policy is no longer local. A decision made in one capital city dictates the price of goods in a market halfway across the globe.
Central bankers are the quiet custodians of this global stability, working often behind the scenes to prevent widespread economic panic.
Debt financed by interest is a necessary lubricant for growth, but uncontrolled debt, both private and public, is the financial system's poison.
The allocation of credit determines who gets wealthier and who falls further behind. It is the core mechanism of wealth distribution.
The next generation must be equipped not just with technical skills, but with a deep understanding of monetary philosophy.
The lessons of money and interest are rooted in human nature, in our tendency toward greed, fear, and the search for security. The code can be understood. The power can be harnessed. The future of global economics is in our hands.
Beyond the charts and policy meetings, the currency code has a profound human cost.
When interest rates are low, my life savings barely keep up with the grocery bills. It's terrifying.
For retirees and savers, prolonged low interest rates erode the value of their carefully planned futures.
We needed that loan to buy new equipment. When the Fed hiked the rate, our monthly payment jumped by 30%. And
for small businesses, minor shifts in the base rate can mean the difference between expansion and layoff.
I'm watching my nation's currency get weaker every month. The cost of imported medicine is almost double what it was.
Currency depreciation in emerging markets directly hits the poor, making essential foreign-sourced goods unaffordable.
Monetary policy is fundamentally a tool for resource allocation, but it always creates winners and losers, often silently.
We are all connected to the central bank's actions, whether we are signing a debt contract or buying a morning coffee.
The value we assign to that coin dictates the path of our lives.
What if the financial code could be optimized not just for profit, but for planetary health and equitable growth?
The interest rate could become a tool to incentivize sustainable investment, steering capital away from harmful practices.
We can design our digital currencies and lending systems to embed societal goals, making responsible finance the easier, cheaper choice.
A truly global, digital currency system promises to reduce friction and costs, unlocking trillions of dollars in global efficiency. The dream of a unified, stable global currency, a neutral unit of account, remains an enduring financial aspiration.
We must remember that power is addictive. Concentration of monetary control, whether centralized or decentralized, demands eternal vigilance.
Florece el mercado hoy.
Sí, y con la moneda local todos ganamos.
Exacto, es mejor para la comunidad.
The future demands that individuals take charge of their economic destiny, understanding the value of their labor and their capital.
The exchange of value, the lending and borrowing of capital, these are fundamentally human acts, repeated across every generation.
The knowledge is available. The code is waiting to be mastered.
To master the code is to master the hidden grammar of power, opportunity, and societal organization.
Every innovation, from the metallic stamp to the digital signature, has aimed for one thing: certainty of value.
The future of money is inextricably linked to the future of democracy. We must demand transparency and accountability from our monetary leaders.
When the code is stable and fair, it unlocks human potential, funding innovation and public good.
On behalf of the Housing Aki, congratulations on your new home.
Thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful.
Control. The next 100 years will be defined by the equilibrium we find between the forces of inflation and deflation.
The equilibrium is fragile. It must be defended by prudent policy and informed public discourse.
It is now the responsibility of a digitally native generation to build a financial system that is more resilient, fair, and accessible. If you found this exploration of economic history valuable, join the conversation. Understanding the code is the first step toward controlling your future.